Hi folks, welcome back. So you can see the camera nomenclature on the upper right hand corner of your screen. I went to the camera store. I got my last few presents. I got some good deals too. So I have kind of like this Pro Master tripod. I like it very much. It's a pretty good size tabletop, but it's not too big. Just right. I got one camera marked on it. I got this one for another camera, which I usually put on the Z8, but I got the Z8 over here since I shipped the ZF to Peter. So he now has a new FX30 to look at from B&H Photos, and I'm interested in that. So is another guy named Mr. Camera Junkie. He's interested in that FX30. So let's see what he says about it. Of course, he's liking the global shuttered f9 III. So anyway, ceramic mic, as you can see. And let's do a little pan with the cameras. Z7 II. 45 megapixel with the Z8. And then, of course, the lowest of the full frame for Nikon is Z5. And that's a 24 megapixel. Same as the Z6 II. So I was going to do a comparison between, let's see, how can I describe it? Well, let me show you what I got, okay? So as you can see, I got two or more ProMaster tripods. They're $120 each. I got them for half price off. So I got two more for $60 each. And you can see I have a portable SSD now for my MacBook. I also have two 5 terabyte external hard drives for these two computers when the SSDs fill up on there. I already filled up one 4 terabyte. One's almost filled up, so I put a 5 terabyte on the Studio 32. This one has about, I say about maybe almost 2 terabytes left on this SSD. But when that runs out, I'll put the other 5 terabyte on here. So I'll basically be using this T7 4 terabyte for, now I did look at the T9, all right? I just want this for storage. It doesn't have to be real fast. So I'm going to use this for my MacBook. So I got that, and I got a little case. And the neat thing about the case is it can hold about 2 lenses. It's real small and tiny. So let me show you. Now the first thing is you always move your microphone closer to follow you. I'll remove the tripods. That's a T7 4 terabyte. I got that at Best Buy. The tripods in this. Okay, so this is a $20 case from ProMaster also. And I'll show you the 2 lenses I got. So, see, I can put the 26 millimeter in here. It's real tiny. And then I got another secret lens in there, which I'll show you in a little bit. Okay? But I got to show you some videos and pictures and explain them to you what's going on. And I think you're going to enjoy this. So, here's the first picture. And I'll be scrolling on them. So, I've been comparing the R6 Mark II, the Canon, and the R8 with 3 different cameras. Now, I've been working on the ZF first, and then I'll use the Z6 II, and then I'll use last is the Z5, because they're all about the 24 megapixel cameras, and I want to make it as fair as possible. The first lens I want to test between each of them is the 1 to 400 millimeter lens, which I got right here. And on the Nikon, this is from the ZF. Of course, it has a black and white switch, so I'm using it, okay? So here's a shot. There's a close-up, and if you can read it, it's at 6K, but it's at 1 to 400 millimeter. It's 1/6400th of a second at f11 on this thing, and I'm trying to see. Guess what, folks? It says 800 millimeter. What's going on here? 800 millimeter. Let's see this one. Yeah, okay. 200 millimeter. I must have read the other one wrong. But anyway, what I like about this is the 6K 10-bit oversampling. 200 millimeter. And that might have been a video. You know what? I bet you that was a video. Well, maybe not. Let me put it back where it was supposed to be. Okay. But anyway, look at the color and look at the sharpness. Look at that, those leaves. Isn't that something? And that's at 800 millimeters. Wait a minute. Oh, don't tell me this program's not working. Why, that's 800 millimeters again. That's my garage at 200 millimeters. All right. What's going on here? Huh. You know what? Instead of all this, let's do something else. Let me go up here. I'll go back, all the way back to the first one. Let's just do a slideshow, okay? That's the best way to describe it. And I will move this one back. You can see how professional I am. Okay, that's more like it. Let's do it like this, okay? And let's just watch the video. Or the slideshow, I should say. Now, I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. Now, the first few shots are black and white, and I think this is out of order. I think it's going backwards. But anyway, I did different types of settings, you know, aperture, and then program. I didn't do shutter. But if you look at the images, the color is fantastic. I do have it in HLG. I did do some video with this lens, but I had it mounted on a tripod. And with the reach of this 1 to 400, I mean, it's incredible. It's huge. But I like the colors. This is right at sunset. And that's my crepe myrtle. It's almost lost all of its leaves. The big one, that is, in the front yard. And there's the bird bath. So as you see, it's scrolling through each picture I'm going to do like 400, 300, 200, 135, 100, something like that, whatever's the markings on the lens. And I'm just scrolling up and down. And that's a little out of focus with the bird bath, but I was focusing on the tree. I believe the next picture, the bird bath should be in focus. Yeah. And what I was finding easier is just by pointing the focus on the LCD screen when it was mounted on the tripod. I try to hand hold this, and I was getting kind of shaky. It is a big, heavy lens. Need to go. I already fed him, and he wants treats, but he's not eating his all of his food. He does not like leftovers. So this is kind of peculiar. The tree is in focus. The bird bath in front is out of focus, and then you can see the bokeh with the grass in the back. Now I got this crepe myrtle, which is at the ditch. This is the far one, all right, by the side of the house. And what you see there, folks, is I'm shooting like in front of the garage. This is the far crepe myrtle, and look how close it looks at 400 millimeter. Here's the garage. I don't know what I was focusing at. I did move it higher, as you say. I had a trouble with the little red on focusing. The color was red, and I have it with the red box turned to green, and for some reason I couldn't see it, so I moved it to another position. That's why you saw it on the floor. So I have it across the street on the sidewalk by my neighbor's driveway. And this is black and white. And this is at 100 millimeters. So the black and white works great on the ZF. And you see, 100 millimeters, you get a wider field of view. But man, that's pretty far. That's across the street and then halfway down the house. So this is the front yard with my chairs. And as you can see, I increase it to 400 millimeters. So I thought I'd try the black and white to see if it'll focus. Now I like that shot right there because you can see the different whites, grays. I tried the screen in front of the window. See if you can see anything on there. Look how sharp it is. And see, the black and white looks great. So it's easier to me describe the pictures that I took today. And looking for, it's hard to look on my old 4K TV because I have the light on and the fan, but the image is perfect on my LG Ultrafine, and that's an HLG. It's a 5K monitor, so I've been looking at that. And what I did was I'm just moving it from 100 to 200 to 300 to 400, and you can see it going farther out. That's what I'm doing. This lens is fantastic. But there is a difference between this lens and the RF 100 to 400. So this is the color version, and it's in neutral for the ZF. And now, as you can see, I go from 100 to 200. Next shot should be 300. There we go. $400. Or maybe that's 400. I miscounted. I think there's a 135 on here too. And you can barely see it, but yep, that's the last leaves on my crepe myrtle. They're beautiful, but look how close I can get. So the other one was 400. This is 300. You can see the on and off control switch for my neighbor's yard. I try to get the tree in focus, and I think I got the, no, I think it, I was trying to focus on the leaves underneath, you know, at the different, I think I tried 3 times. I gave up. I kept getting his plug. Seems like that's the only thing I got in clear. I finally got it. So you can see it became bokeh. And there you go. 100 millimeter. So that gives it a pretty good perspective. And that's the end of the slideshow. So anyway, I'll get out of this right here, and I'll close it. NX Studio. And let's go back to the table, product review table. All right, and show you what I have underneath the lens. So this is the thing I'm dealing with. This is the Canon RF 100 to 400. Okay, it's small, portable, and I love it. I love the 1 to 400, especially the 400. So I went to the store because I was curious with the $4,000 400 for the Nikon, and I was ready to buy it. But you know what? That was a heavy lens. So then I looked at the 35 to 150, and that was a heavy lens. All right, so I didn't buy that. So I went the cheapest route that I could get, and I bought the Nikon teleconverter 2. They didn't have the 1.4. The 1.4 is a little bit sharper, but as you can see with the film, the stills, it did an excellent job. And to give you a better perspective of how well this works, I'm going to show you 2 things. And I'm hoping this is in the shot. Come on. All right. Here's the lens, folks. Okay, I'm going to move it up a little bit closer. And I'm going to move the chair in this way. Hopefully it's not blocking too well. This is all the way to 400 millimeters. Okay. This is the Canon on top of it. So there's about another 2 inches to the end. And I'm including the caps on each. Okay. When I put the teleconverter on, so if I take the caps off, I'll be, yeah, I'll leave it like that. But you see, part of this goes inside. So you see, it's a little bit more reach than this. It's not this long, but it just shows you how big and humongous this lens is. This has an LED. I showed off the 400, 100 to 400 earlier. This is still an excellent lens. It's about 3 stops more than the f4.5. Okay, this is like a 5.6 to 4.5 at the 400, but at 5.6 at the 400. So a 4.5 with the 400. It's like 2 stops. Let's see, 4.5, 5, 5.6. Yeah, 2 stops. I says, well, usually you do it at, f8 or higher. This one was f9 with the teleconverter. Okay. So it is at 4.5 at the 100, but at the 400 it's 5.6. With the teleconverter, it was like f9. Okay. But that was in aperture. I tried to do it in manual, it was f9. So they said that it would be a f11 and I can go higher on the aperture, but the lowest I could get was f9 with this. So let's take a look at, and I'm sorry, I got to remember to move the microphone and talk to it. I had it pointing out there. So if you heard all that without an echo, thank you. But it does make a difference when you put the teleconverter on. I was seeing shots with, so instead of 100 to 400, I was getting 200, 800. And in the video I'm going to do after this, I'm going to tease you a little bit, saying, hey, this is like the RF 200 800. This is an amazing lens. And I leave it at that. I'll put up this video afterwards. And then you get a pretty good idea of all the mystery that's going on. So, user error again, but let's take a look at this lens. Okay, so at the back, basically for the ZC, but there is a difference. It's kind of like a little miniature microscope, telescope lens, and it goes in and it locks in. And there's the teleconverter. And it's about 2 inches. And there's a locking mechanism when you lock into the camera. And I'm going to show you that shortly. Show you the procedure that you have to go through in order to get the lens on. So if I go back to oh, that's the wrong one. Come on. Okay. This might be easier to look at through the Z7 II. Okay. Look how long it is. So, just by taking the camera off, okay, you put the adapter on, you do it this way. Flat end, like normal Z lens, and you put it on normal. And then, you can see the little telepart. You match it up right here with a white dot on the lens. You just turn the camera. You don't want to hold the camera with this lens. You always hold it from the base or you have it on a tripod. When I carry it, I like carrying it at the base because you can move the focus ring. And if you have a program like for the aperture or whatever, right there too. Okay. So you can see how long this is with the camera. And with the bottom off, you can see how massive this is. Okay? Now, if I do this and lock it, now this does not have a lock, I believe, on here. But it does have an LED screen. Okay? So if I scroll out all the way to 400, you see? But this is only at 100. Okay? So it's not really a fair comparison. I was going to do it thinking it fair, but I forgot how massive this lens is. So at 400 and this at 400, but this is a teleconverter. Okay? So that's actually an 800. But if I put it here, now you get a better distance. All right? So this is still about 2 inches more than this lens. And just to show you this part, look at the diameter. It's smaller. So just by turning this, I'll put the cap back on. There we go. Okay. So you can see the difference in diameter. This one is about 67 millimeters. Okay. That's if you want to use a filter. I got a lens hood on it. And then this right here is 77. Okay. And it's VR. This one I think is stabilized. And again, it may not be. Let me take a look. Yes, it is. It is stabilized. So, and it's a silent motor also. So they're very quiet in operation. That's easy to carry around. This one, I recommend a tripod. Okay? And the 400 millimeter is bigger than this. You know, just a prime. And then you see, there you go. So I have a teleconverter making this a 200 to 800. And then if you put in a crop mode, what is it? 300 to 1200? So you'll see that on the video. Anyway, there it is. Thank you for watching. I hope I'm not too far away, but let me know in the comments if you have any questions and what you think about the teleconverter with this camera. And plus the fact that it's crooked. So I was on the sidewalk, which was crooked on the driveway, so I made it as straight as possible. There we go. Now you can see, well, it's still crooked. It's me. Okay, let's straighten it up. All right, I need my leveler. It still looks crooked, doesn't it? Oh well, it might be the tripod. And again, you never know. Yeah, mold's there. Oh well. Anyway, that's what I got at the store today. Thank you for watching. And Try not to tap that too much. And give me a like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. And remember, stay safe. Keep smiling until next time. I shall see you then. Goodbye, folks.